Hey guys, welcome to another video. I wanted to make a video today on my 10 years experience with intermittent fasting. So just a quick disclaimer, it's not actually 10 years, it's 9 years. So I first began fasting in 2012. Up until this point I'd religiously eaten breakfast, as I was sort of read in various mainstream sort of news media and the fitness publications at the time that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, and that skipping that meal you'd basically die by the afternoon, and there was all kinds of damaging health concerns. But then I started reading some stuff by a fitness writer called Jason Ferrugia, who's still putting out like really good content, so check him out if you get a chance. His diet plan was called the Renegade Diet, so I'll put a picture up of kind of when I was at my largest. Hopefully it will flash up around now. And at this point I was around 107 kg. So it was for a purpose at the end of the day. Like, I ate loads and loads of food so that I could lift loads and loads of weight. And I pushed my squat up to over 200 kilos, deadlift up to 240, and my bench press was still terrible. But I was happy once I'd achieved those goals. And then I tried a bit of boxing, realised that the strength that I'd built didn't really carry over to the skill aspect of fighting and the fitness aspect of fighting. So I had to kind of revamp everything and get down to 84 kilos, which is what I eventually fought at. It took probably about 6 months, I would say 7 months, to get this weight down. And I'll try and flash up another picture of just before one of my fights now. So basically, what have I learnt from doing intermittent fasting? Sorry, for 10 years. Well, it's not a magic bullet, that's for sure. You can still easily go over your calories, eating in a small window. However, it's harder. You can eat more food, and you can have things like dessert or maybe like a couple of glasses of wine after your dinner if those are things that you enjoy, which on a standard kind of, especially the bodybuilding diets that we were doing back in the day, it was like 6 meals a day, so 5 to 6 meals per day. So the meals were really tiny, and there was just no room for any kind of treat because of these 6 small doses of calories. Well, after you'd eaten your dinner, you really hardly had any calories left, so you just have to kind of go to bed feeling a little bit unsatisfied and a little bit hungry. So even though you're having these really regular feedings, you'd still feel like you needed cheat meals and cheat days, because you just felt a bit deprived, because to get in your protein and to get in your carbs, because high protein was like a given then, so we used to always eat around 200 grams per day, or all the trainers that I knew in like the kind of mid to late 2000s were, preaching a gram per pound of body weight, which is not a terrible recommendation, a gram per pound of body weight of protein. But for me, it made me have to have really frequent feedings, which was kind of caused me some gastrointestinal distress and a few like stomach issues and stuff. Always had heartburn, always had bloating, indigestion. Just thought that was a normal part of being an adult, really. So that is one thing for me that fasting really did fix. Not eating until at least 12, between 12 and 2 o'clock, and I have my last meal around 8 o'clock at night, well, I say 7:30, and maybe a little dessert at like 7:45 or so. And that's pretty much what I've stuck to for close to a decade. I've had a few times when I started eating breakfast, and what almost always happened when I started eating breakfast is it was great at first, because I am kind of hungry in the morning and I do want to eat in the morning. So it would satisfy that sort of urge, but then I would find at the end of the day I was still just as hungry as when I was fasting, but I'd eaten 500 to 600 more calories. So just whenever I start eating 3 meals a day, for me, anyway, it's usually just like steady weight gain. It works initially because the adherence is like quite high, because you can have these relatively frequent feedings. But then I will start to gain weight, just because for me, like, I need a larger dinner, or I don't need it, but I love to have a larger dinner and then a little dessert afterwards, so that I feel sort of satiated when I go to bed. That is the main thing with intermittent fasting for me, that it allows you to do. So a few other things I've noticed, like it reduced gastrointestinal distress. So like, I never get heartburn, I never get acid indigestion, I never get any digestive problems whatsoever, unless when I start eating breakfast again. I think it's because I eat breakfast in a rush, because we're normally trying to get my son ready and get him out of the house, and I will shove something in my mouth, and it's not like optimal digestive conditions. So that may be why as well, but when I fast, never get any heartburn, never get any acid indigestion. So it's also, I think it's helped to give me relatively clear skin over the years. And I don't necessarily look young for my age, but some of the other sort of bodybuilders and stuff that I grew up with, who've stuck to like a really high meal frequency, loads of cardio, loads of hard training, I do think I've aged like at least as well as they have. So, but watch my older videos and see like how old I look now in comparison, because there is supposed to be some benefits to longevity and slowing down the aging process with fasting, but I don't know, because I haven't documented it closely. And yeah, I've kind of, to myself, I look the same, maybe a little bit creasier, but you don't know unless I think if you took a photo every day for 5 years and then had a control, you could maybe tell, but I'm not sure. But I think it helps with inflammation. Injury rate seems to be lower now that I'm fasting than when I was eating 6 meals a day. But then there's another factor, is I was training very heavy then, and not necessarily always with the best form. So I just wanted to move the most weight from A to B. Now I still want to move weight, and I still want to get stronger, but it's not at the expense of form or recovery. So I think that's, just being a bit older and a bit wiser, that's factored into my reduced injury rate as well. So yeah, overall, I just find it may not be the magic bullet for everyone to lose weight, but for me, for ongoing weight management, I've kind of maintained the same weight or within a few kilos. Okay, I did gain weight over lockdown, but that was before that I had about 8 years of staying the same weight. So I think for weight maintenance, it's fantastic. For weight loss, maybe there's better methods. And this is the thing I want to hammer home, is everything's individual. So everything's optional when it comes to dieting. Everything's optional. There's nothing you have to do except stick in a calorie deficit, and everything is individual. So for me, as an individual, this style of eating gives me lots of options. So it means that I can have a little treat in the evening after my dinner. I don't need cheat days, because I'm able to have a little bit of something that I like every day. So for me, with intermittent fasting, the adherence has been really good, and it is what you can stick to over the long term. So I think it's proven itself in terms of effectiveness for me, but you may have to try different methods to find something that absolutely suits you down to the ground. And just to summarize the video, I think it's write what you need. Maybe if you're assessing a fat loss plan in terms of its effectiveness, write down what you need. So do you need a little treat every day? Do you need a little cake every day? If so, that has to be factored into your plan going forward. So you need some kind of strategy that allows for those foods. And I can tell you now, like, you can get absolutely lean having a cake or a chocolate bar every day. Like, I've done it loads of times. It is possible, because total calories is king. So strategize before you start a fat loss plan. Do you need a glass of wine every night for adherence? Because adherence is even more important than a lot of other factors. It's not more important than a calorie deficit, but it is, because that is the bottom line. But adherence is everything. So if you know that you need a little treat here and there to stop you from having a binge, that's going to keep you on track for the long haul. And the long haul, 3 to 6 months of sticking with a plan, is where the true results are going to be. So that'll be my closing statement for today, I think. So intermittent fasting, it's not a magic bullet. It's been good for my long-term adherence. I think it's made me look kind of somewhat younger than I probably would if I'd stuck to my original bodybuilding plan by now. It's cleared up some stomach issues, and I think it's kept my skin relatively clear. One other bonus that I would say is it's given me extra time in the mornings to get ready, because once you become a parent, the mornings are mega hectic. There's no like scrolling on your phone while you drink a cup of coffee, which I do love doing, but that's a tragedy for another day. So there we go, guys. That's my wrap up. If you've got any questions or you'd like me to make another video on this subject, just pop a question in the comments below and I will do so. Please subscribe. Trying to get to that 100 subscribers would be fantastic. I think I'm on 87, 88 by now. So if you could share the video if you like it, or send it to somebody, and yeah, just help me to spread the channel a little bit would be amazing. Okay guys, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.